Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, so you guys, I've been doing a little bit of research, and this is just a rumor, but allegedly that Netflix isn't too pleased with Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua from the ratings to Jake Paul's performance to the end result of the fight. They're not too happy about it, so they may be at a crossroads with Jake Paul to the point they may be ready to pull the plug on this whole, influencer transitioning into boxing thing. So they may be done. But who knows? They may give him one more chance and Jake Paul can find another viable opponent that they think that he remotely has a chance of beating. But based off the fact how the Joshua fight ended, where you could clearly see that there was levels to this where you have Anthony Joshua and then you have Jake Paul. And I think for the most part, I think I think people won't get locked into this again. I just think people don't want to see this again because in many people's eyes, they just think Jake Paul just isn't that good of a boxer. And I think many people believe that the gig is up. So this is why Netflix may be at a crossroads with Jake Paul and whether they're just going to pull the plug on the whole Jake Paul experience or continue the deal. Because keep in mind, they have to get sponsors and all this kind of stuff. They show commercials and all that kind of stuff, especially with these live events. So you have to wonder, will they be able to make the sponsorship money and all that kind of stuff from, you know, putting Jake Paul back on Netflix. People want to return. Okay. So, with the Jake Paul thing, Netflix probably is like, okay, it didn't end too well for Jake Paul. He got completely obliterated. And then the fact that he was going to attempt to run around for basically 8 rounds and try to declare a moral victory. No, they're not going for that. So they're probably like, I don't know if we want to continue this. So you've been hearing it. There's a lot of disappointment in behind this last Jake Paul fight. As I said before, many people felt like after what we saw with Anthony Joshua that, the charade the charade was over with. And that nobody could seriously take Jake Paul as a serious fighter or a contender, even though he's saying that he wants to contend for a title. Who do you think that's out there that can really, that really could be a serviceable opponent for Jake Paul and that who's beatable, that's a seasoned boxer? Many people believe nobody. Many people believe nobody. So, with that being said, what is there for him to do? I think Jake Paul should just kick back, enjoy the money that he made, and just figure out what his next move gonna be. Maybe just focus on promoting the fighters that he have signed to MVP, because I think this Anthony Joshua thing is just not feasible anymore. I just think people are not buying into it. So, with that being said, we'll just have to see what the future holds for Jake Paul. But you are hearing that Netflix is not very happy with Jake Paul. Anyway, it's your boy Town. I'm out.